Greetings. Once again, thank you for taking time out to view us on Tesla Fan Insight. This is Greg. Today is the first in a series that I'll call my Tesla luxury living plan. The first item I wanted to cover is private superchargers. Bonjour, wie geht's? Wie steht's noch immer ausbeibaren? Zdravstvuyte, ni hao ma. This is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. I was intrigued by the fact that there are some Teslas that are getting up to even $150,000, and it was strange to me that there was no way to sort of improve your sort of luxury experience that's obvious beyond things like a bigger battery or maybe a width of tires or a stereo. And I say this because I believe there are different locations around the world where Tesla's a really good idea for consumers, and those individuals may have resources beyond what Tesla has forecasted, as well as an interest in having certain features that not everybody else has. Hence, I thought it'd be interesting to kind of focus on, well, what might be some of these luxury appointments, and are they available, and how does one get them? So the first of them that I focused on was the fact that I thought it'd be really great to have a supercharger at your house, because then you didn't have to wait all night for the thing to charge up. And if the nature of your work doesn't allow you to be home at a certain prescribed time so you can charge fully in time, you could then have the ability to charge up and get on the way with what you're doing. I checked in with my Tesla representative, and what he informed me was that if you have 6 or more Tesla vehicles, then they will actually install a Tesla supercharger for you. And I was kind of surprised, because I'd seen this nowhere in the literature that one's ability to get a charger in the house might be driven by the number of vehicles that you have there. He went further on to explain that in one case here in the Washington, D.C. area, there's an individual who has a business, and they actually have 12 Teslas in their group. And so the supercharger from Tesla was installed, and they're also, I guess, happy to do so. I also did not realize something that was introduced, which was that if you have those more than 6 vehicles, superchargers actually do require some maintenance. So it's probably a good deal to have that going. The Tesla representative also explained that there was a phenomenon where there are other charging entities you can use that are comparable in speed to a Tesla charger. So in theory, you don't necessarily need a Tesla charger at your home in order to get the job done. This sounded good to me, and it sounded logical. I guess the concern that I had with this is the number of times that I've read about superchargers that were charging vehicles, and that those chargers would recognize that the battery was getting too hot and slow down the supercharging process to address concerns. So I believe, yes, you can have a third-party charger. I believe if the cost and the headache is comparable, I feel like it's a way better deal to keep all of your data within the Tesla house rather than go outside, unless there's a huge dollar difference between the two. I did have one individual who made the comment to me that, wow, you can get supercharger and free electricity. Now, I did not ask about free electricity with the Tesla supercharger. My assumption is if it's a private location, that it does not come with free electricity if it's a Tesla install. But I do think it's nice to know that if you have enough vehicles, Tesla will install a supercharger. Now, what's starting to happen is Tesla is starting to put superchargers in dense cities. So this does bring up the question of, what if you have a large apartment building or a group of buildings where there are a number of Teslas there? and those individuals choose to approach Tesla regarding installing a supercharger for that building or group of buildings. This sounds like it's a possibility based on the Tesla policy of the number of vehicles that are being charged and how this might work. So yes, it seems like a luxury, and it definitely would be a luxury to have a supercharger at home. It's really nice not to have to sit there for 6 or 8 hours or make sure every night that you charge it, stick it in so that it's charged up properly, would be a luxury. And if you have the money, why not install? I don't, clearly buying 6 Teslas is a little pricey, but it's entirely possible that what if 6 Model 3s in the same building or set of buildings might command the same type of numbers. So I think this is an interesting to explore. I believe that there are other luxury elements to be explored that one can potentially draw from Tesla, but it takes some effort to understand what all their offerings are and how to optimize them relative to your needs. The one other circumstance that was sort of popping to mind is the fact that if you're in a location, I'm thinking like Montana, Idaho, even Nevada, where you have a large piece of land and maybe you have a farm, it's possible that you might want to install your own solar farm and battery arrays so that a group of vehicles could be charged on your own supercharger. And it might be a rural setting where you may not want to, go for gasoline, or it might be a distance away where you can now run off grid with your Teslas as well as your own supercharger. Thank you very much for viewing us once again. This is Greg for Tesla Fan Insight. Tschüss, macht's gut, au revoir, à tout à l'heure, lahitraot. Please like and subscribe. Now that we've completed our session, I wanted to also point out that yes, we do indeed, I do include comments at the beginning introducing my site in other languages, usually French, German, Spanish, and Mandarin Chinese. I wanted to note to my US or English consumers that greater than half of the folks who watch our videos are not in the United States, as is the user base for Tesla vehicles. My attempt to introduce language is an effort to embrace variety of audiences around the world, so I appreciate your indulgence in this regard. I also make a point of trying to shoot in different locations, particularly outdoors, because the impact on lighting of video is different if you use an indoor versus outdoor source. So you will notice that we do choose to shoot in different circumstances, and your input on what we're doing is always appreciated and addressed. Thank you for taking time out once again. Au revoir, tschüss, macht's gut, and look forward to our next conversation.